I'm going to give you a quick video demonstration on how to get the whitewashed look for your sign holder. I am not going to show you how to do the stained look because I'm pretty sure everybody who got this has already done that, but you're going to wrap the baby wipe around your fingers, make sure that it's damp, dip it into the brown paint, and then just wipe it in the direction of the wood grain in order to stain it. You don't have to really worry about even coverage since you will be, you don't want it to be extremely blotchy, but don't worry as much because you're gonna be covering it with the white paint anyways. If you're planning on displaying your post where you're gonna see the front and the back, then I would start by whitewashing these two pieces first because you're going to need to do both sides. So you want to do one side, let it dry, do some other pieces, and then come back so that you can flip it over. Okay, I've already whitewashed all my other pieces, so I'm going to show you on this. You're just going to take your chippy brush and you are going to very lightly dip it into the paint. You really want to just do light, even coverage because you can always go back and do more. But if you do too much, then you're going to have a lot of sanding, unless you already know you want it mostly white. But I barely dip it in, and then just with a light touch, just kind of brush back and forth. And I start in the middle just because if it's going to be a natural whitewash, it's gonna fade around the edges first. So start in the middle to deposit most of the paint and then scooch it over to the sides. And I do this pretty quick because like I said, you're gonna sand it, you can add more. And if you just do a light coat, it's easier to sand, so you're saving yourself a step, but also it's going to dry quickly. So just repeat this process. Once it's completely dry, these brushes will leave little strands, which some people actually love that because they feel it gives it the homemade look. But once it's completely dry, then take your sandpaper and start to sand same direction of the wood grain. That way it's gonna smooth it out. I'll show you. So it kind of looks rough and uneven once it dries. But once you sand it, and you just can just put a really, like a light touch, it just really smooths everything out. It makes it look nice and weathered. So yeah, just distress as much as you want. I am going to finish this, let it dry, and then I will come back on when it's time to assemble. So this small circle, I forgot to mention before, there's these two circles. You don't have to paint the tiny one. It's basically just a spacer so you have somewhere to hang your signs. If you painted it, that's totally fine. So let's start with the base. The smaller oval obviously has this adhesive on the back. So let's take that off. And then just eyeball to center it on the larger oval base. Making sure that I'm still in the video range. Okay. And then let's just do these two lines. I don't know what to call them. So the longer one goes here and the larger one here. And just line it up on these edges. Press down to stick. Okay, now the important part. Before you put this bottom part on, you need to stand. It's gonna be hard to do in the video. You need to stand this post up in the base. If you put this right on the bottom, it is not going to fit into the base. So it's gonna actually be up just a little bit. So this line actually goes in the back. So once you put it in like this. I'm gonna have to lay this down, but you'll do yours standing up. So make sure that the post is pressed all the way to the bottom. Then take the adhesive off this bottom band and then eyeball to center it. I need to stand it up. I don't trust myself to get it right. So I'm gonna stand it up. I'm going to center it on that post and I'm going to press down on it. So then when I lift it out, as you can see, there is a gap on the bottom. That's the gap that's gonna fit into the slot. So now I need to press pause so I can take a picture of that for the instructions and then we'll finish up the rest. Okay, I tipped the video up because now you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and place our knobs. So you have an option. I'm gonna tip this down for a minute. So this is going to go right into the middle of this knob and then you're gonna place it like so. So you can take off this whole adhesive and then just plop this right into the middle. What that's gonna do though is it's gonna leave a sticky border. It's okay, you're still gonna be able to hang your twine and things on it, but it might just stick a little bit. It's not gonna be enough to like, you'll never be able to get it off. And eventually enough twine sheddings will get in there so it will stop sticking. But if you don't wanna deal with that, then go ahead and get like an X-Acto knife. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and roughly trim a circle. I'm not gonna do it like exactly around because then you have to place it exactly in and I don't wanna worry about that. And then I'm just gonna peel off that much so there's still that protective border. And then I'm going to look at it like this, eyeball it right in the middle and press down. Okay, now, once that is stuck, you wanna make sure that it's firm, otherwise it's gonna fall apart. If it's firmly on there, it's not gonna move at all. Then you're gonna take this off and you can really put it anywhere you want. I kind of put mine where it dips in, just a little bit below that. And then I'm gonna press down for a little bit just to make sure it stays. But I wanted you to be able to see the back and you couldn't do that when it was in landscape view. So I'm showing you an unfinished piece, so I can't quite put it together. So just to reiterate, you're going to set this in the stand. So this is the back of my piece. You're going to take this piece. The curved end is on top, and then the flat, so you can tell that like, obviously this angles this way a bit. So the flat part goes against the back of your post. So you're going to put it in and it should be a pretty snug fit, but it can move back and forth. So that's what this piece is for. This is gonna stabilize that because unless you use hot glue, if you really wanna make sure that it stays, you can do hot glue, but you shouldn't need it. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel this off. I'm not going to do that because this is an unfinished kit that I'm giving to somebody. And then obviously you can't just slide it down like this because it's going to stick and then it's there. So what you're going to do is double check that this is in the middle. Then you are going to kind of go in at an angle like this. Sorry, I can't see. And it's gonna be super tight fit. So start sliding it down as far as it can go. It's not going to go all the way. I don't know if you can tell, but slide down as far as it can go and then push it to the back and make sure that you're getting it everywhere so that it sticks really good. And then that will stabilize it enough.